for a few more minutes? Or... Okay, I think we'll get started because we have a long webinar in front of us, and we want to make sure we have time towards the end for all our participants for some Q&A as well. So hello, everyone, and welcome to GBRI's webinar on climate change and new global perspectives and local actions. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Ashwini Dharmarajan, and I'm thrilled to moderate today's session where we have more than 600 registrants from around the world. Now, while we wait for everyone to join, I would like to say a few words about GBRI. GBRI was born in San Antonio in Texas and is now headquartered in the New York City. GBRI is a testament to grassroots effort in making sustainability education more accessible for everyone. Just a quick reminder for everyone, today's session is being recorded and a recording of today's session will be posted on the same page where you registered for this webinar. We have muted all attendees to limit the background noise, but please feel free to put your questions or ask anything in the chat. We'll be sure to keep an eye on that, and towards the end, we can try and answer as many questions as possible. And yeah, there'll be Q&A at the end, so please feel free. That's all about the reminders. And then a little bit about myself. Like I mentioned, my name is Ashwini Dharmarajan. I'm a senior project manager working for Turner & Townsend based in Toronto, Canada. For those who aren't familiar, Turner & Townsend is a global professional services company specializing in major programs, program management, cost and commercial management, net zero initiatives, and digital solutions. Just being specific to Canada, Turner & Townsend delivers specialized environmental, social, and governance ESG reporting and decarbonization program management for mining and metal clients. We also in green procurement and sustainable aviation solutions. So that's just about me and my work. I'm also one of GBRI's sustainability and social impact partner. I joined GBRI back in July 2023 due to my passion in the field of sustainability and climate change, and also to connect with like-minded individuals. It's been an amazing journey to get to know the other partners and to learn about the variety of courses and materials GBRI has for everyone who's interested in exploring sustainability. So anything and everything under the sustainability umbrella, you can just log on to GBRI, whether you're just starting off or whether you're a professional and looking to upgrade. And we're going to talk more about it in the webinar. So quickly moving on to today's agenda. I'm going to do a quick recap of GBRI's past climate change events. And then I'm going to host our speakers who've joined from all around the world. I'm so thankful. It's all different time zone, but they're all here just so they can share their expertise and insights. And we would start with Carolina representing South America as far as the speakers are concerned. Okay, so before I do the recap, can you all please tell me where you're joining from? I did see in the chat we have people from Toronto, Canada. Yay, that's good to know. We have from Texas, from Florida, I saw Liverpool, United Kingdom, and I even saw Kerala, India. So it looks like we have people from all across the world, and it's amazing to see so many participants. Okay, I see the chat keep popping up. Washington, Oregon. Okay, great. All right. I think we'll get started. before we dive into today's discussion, I want to take a moment to reflect on the journey GBRI has embarked related to this crucial topic. You can consider this recap as a Netflix show you'd eagerly watch. It's always nice to have a background as to why we are doing what we're doing, and to get some insights into what this webinar is about and what has happened previously. Because as you're aware, a key highlight of this webinar is the launch of the the climate change program. So it's good to know where all of that is coming from. As many of you know, GBRI is an online sustainability education provider and has been active since 2010. However, we did not have a specific course or program that looked into climate change. But in 2020, during COVID, there was this discussion that was started with Dr. Schiller. She's an oncologist who joined GBRI in illuminating us on the connection between climate change and healthcare, including cancer, something which many of us can relate on to a personal level. I can, because a very close family member of mine has gone through cancer. So this correlation that I'll share in the next slide, you can try and relate what climate change and health, how they connect. Um, that webinar had more than 1,000 registrants. So that led to an inspiration and an initiation of GBRI's Climate Change Ambassador Program version 1.0, which is an online certification initiative which is designed to bolster understanding of climate change's complexities whilst empowering individuals and businesses alike to take decisive action towards environmentally friendly and sustainable practices. Now, coming on to the next slide, here is what captured my attention from Dr. Schiller's webinar. This is a normal chest x-ray that you can see the ribs, you can see the spine. There's the white blob in the middle, which is the heart. Now, on the right-hand side, you're looking at another X-ray with the large lung cancer. As Dr. Schiller started learning a lot more about climate change, he realized that in many ways, climate change is a lot like cancer. Uh, just like cancer, it can be caused by many things. It's insidious. It takes a very long time to develop, and often you don't notice it until it's too late. The amount of information out there can be overwhelming and technically challenging. And like cancer, it can cause unexpected and unintended consequences all over your body, or in this case, since we're talking about climate change, the world. Now, if this was your chest x-ray and 97% of oncologists said you have a lung cancer, would you really listen to the other 3% and assume that you don't? Just a question. Now, for those interested, this webinar that I just spoke about, just gave a glimpse of, is available as a recording on GBRI's platform, and it's free for everyone to view. And I also have viewed this webinar, and that's where I actually found about GBRI and associated with it a year ago. Now, moving on from that webinar, 2 years later in 2022, GBR organized the first Climate Change Season 1 webinar. It was a very powerful event that brought together experts and enthusiasts from all around the world to discuss the pressing issue of climate change, particularly related to climate change and energy, health, buildings, communities, and biodiversity, and the actions that we can take both at global and local levels. The recording of this second webinar is also available on GBR's website. Again, it's free to watch. And I would like to sincerely thank our former speakers who were Paulina Marikovic, Dr. Joanne Schiller, her son, Craig Schiller, Mina Agarabi, Peter Martin, and Avery Miles. So they were the speakers of the first webinars that was held in 2022. After this, again, in the next year, 2023, GBRI organized a similar webinar, which was specific to our Indian subcontinent, and the audience there with the partnership with, they had a partnership with NASA, that stands for National Association for Students in Architecture. Again, they had over 1,100 participants for this event. The key speakers included Chitra Vishwanath, Sita Raghupati, and Dr. Purva Ujjwal Keskar. Recordings are again available for everyone, and we highly encourage everyone to watch these webinars just so you can get a flow of where we are coming from and where we are moving forward with this. Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with me for this recap. Now, I'll be very quick with the agenda. Like I mentioned, we have this agenda, and we are gathering once again today, building upon the foundation that we laid in the previous webinar. This event for today, it serves as a sequel and is an opportunity to delve deeper into this topic, to hear from voices across the continents. As you can see, we have speakers from South America, from Southeast Asia, from Middle East, from United States, and they've all made full efforts and to give their time and join this webinar and share their insights with us. We'll hear from all of them, and they'll each be offering their unique insights and experiences. It's not just a one-way conversation. We want to hear from you, our audience, as well. So your questions, your concerns, your ideas, everything is welcome. They all play a crucial role. So please feel free to put it in the chat, and we'll be sure to talk about it later. As I briefly mentioned before, the highlight of today's webinar is going to be the launch of GBRI's Climate Change Ambassador Program version 3.0. We did talk about 1.0 before. This is 3.0, so much more enhanced with lots of power pack information, with lots of positivity, and it has a lot more to offer, which Jesslyn will talk about later today. So without further ado, let's begin our journey. Let's explore the challenges, the opportunities, and the solutions that lie ahead. Let's spark conversations, let's foster connections and inspire action. Most importantly, we all want to work together to create a brighter and more sustainable future for generations to come. This is your chance to engage directly with our esteemed speakers. Feel free again to submit questions via the chat box. Okay, let's move on to our very first speaker. We are very thrilled to welcome our first keynote speaker, Carolina Wernicke. Carolina is an architect and sustainability consultant at GreenNexus Consulting Environmental Services, and it's based in Houston, Texas. She has also worked for a leading design and construction firm in Latin America, specializes in helping clients achieve international certifications and meet their ESG, which is environmental, social, and governance goals. Carolina focuses on sustainability, promoting the well-being of building occupants, and enhancing corporate reputation and practices. She holds LEED AP and WELL AP certifications, which she has expertly applied to projects across Latin America since 2019. She earned her architectural degree from the Faculty of Architecture, Planning and Design at Argentina's National University in Rosario. Recently, the Well Building Institute, IWBI, named her an advisor on the 2024 Mind Concept, which is a great accomplishment. So let's welcome Carolina.
Thank
Okay,
you, Ashwin.
thank you, Carolina. Our first question for you is, can you please elaborate on the main aspects of climate change in Latin America over the past few years and how these have affected both the environment and local communities?
Well, over the past 3 years since the Climate Change Ambassador Program came out, the first one, Latin America has experienced a significant impact of climate change, from extreme weather events to environmental degradation. When we consider these global issues in Latin America, especially in South America, that has faced various challenges, including deforestation in the Amazon rainforest, melting glaciers in South America, and an increasing frequency of storms, hurricane storms, tornadoes, and droughts. Now, these issues not only affect the region's biodiversity, but also have socioeconomic implications, particularly for vulnerable communities reliant on natural resources. Now, despite all these challenges, there has been a surge in climate change projects and initiatives across Latin America. Many countries in the region have been actively involved in implementing adaptation and mitigation strategies. For example, reforestation efforts are underway to combat deforestation, while renewable energy projects are gaining momentum to reduce dependence on fossil fuels. Now, governments in Latin America have increasingly recognized the urgency of addressing climate change. Now, several countries have committed to the international agreement, the Paris Agreement, and have taken steps to integrate climate action into the policies and agendas. Argentina, Bolivia, Costa Rica, Ecuador, Paraguay, Peru, and Uruguay have set targets to reducing greenhouse emissions, promoting sustainable development practices, and investing in green technologies. During the COP28, which is something that one of my colleagues is going to explain later, but during the COP28 in the city of Dubai, the Climate Action Platform for Latin America and the Caribbean has, so this Climate Action Platform for Latin America is a regional collaboration and partnership that tackles climate change collectively and shares information and help coordination among governments, organizations, and stakeholders. So they have presented a document called the Economics of Climate Change in Latin America and the Caribbean 2023, Financing Needs and Policy Tools for the Transition to Low Carbon and Climate Resilience Economies. So this document stresses the climate financing needs for Latin America and the Caribbean and its fight against global warming. So it was very interesting, and the GBRI was there at the COP28. So I would advise you to go through that information if you're interested.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. It was great to know some of these notable initiatives in Latin America to address climate change. Just going, a little further, what challenges do you think Latin American countries face in their efforts to combat climate change? And how are regional collaborations and, international agreements supporting these efforts?
So, despite the progress that has been made during these past years, there are many challenges in Latin America, especially in South America. There is insufficient funding due to political and economic instability in the region. There's inadequate enforcement of environmental regulations and climate risk plans. There's management deficiencies. There's, many issues. Now, you have heard in the news the recent devastating flooding event in Rio Grande do Sul in Brazil, which claimed probably more than 200 lives by now, and has been declared the worst disaster in history for that area. This highlights the urgent need for effective climate resilience measures. On the other hand, there's also the environmental cost of fast fashion that has that has surged in the past years. It has been widely showcased in the news and in social media, and it includes over 92 million tons of waste produced per year and 79 trillion liters of water consumed. Now, this fast fashion industry, you can see the result of that in the desert of Atacama in Chile. You can, even with a satellite image, see the big waste, the waste stain in the desert of all the clothes that has been wasted there. So, so the consumers need to understand how to transition back towards a slow fashion model. Now, despite all this, there's a growing awareness and collective efforts signaling a positive trajectory toward building climate resilience and sustainable development in the region. There has been an increase in the buildings construction resilience to climate change as well. Many countries are integrating meteorological data into health surveillance as well, focusing on diseases and extreme weather impacts, and reflecting to move towards stronger resilience strategies. There's way more building that has been certified LEED and WELL. So there's an interest in trying to build better in South America. So to sum up, like designing for climate resilience involves various strategies, such as using durable and low carbon materials, incorporating energy efficiency systems, and integrating nature-based solutions like rainwater harvesting, which can significantly reduce buildings' energy consumption and carbon footprint. I'm sure that together, I mean, and that's why we are here for today, we can continue to amplify our efforts and showcase some innovative solutions and explore transformative policies to address the challenges of climate change in Latin America, South America, and beyond. And that can be easily be done by becoming a climate change ambassador with GBRI.
Thank you so much, Carolina. This was great. And for those who don't know or who are new to this, Carolina also conducts classes for WELL AP aspirants with GBRI. And as you know, she's recently been named as the advisor on the 2024 Mind Concept for WELL. So she has a lot more knowledge to share. But given that we are running short of time, I think we'll move on to our next speaker. But Carolina is still here. If you have any questions for her, please feel free to put it in the chat and she'll be happy to answer it for all of us. All right, thank you again, Carolina. Moving on from South America, I think we are now moving towards the Southeast Asian region. So I'm excited to introduce Roina Raute. She has 20 years of experience in architecture, construction, and project management. She holds a diploma in architecture from Mumbai and a postgraduate degree in construction business management from Pune, India. Her professional qualifications include LEED AP in building design and construction, in interior design and construction. Wow, that's 2 LEED APs. WELL AP, and then SC Damapol qualified professional. She's an EDGE auditor, EDGE expert, Green Mark manager, APFM. That's a lot of qualifications and very inspiring. She has been lead professional for the last 15 years. Currently, she's the Global Head of Sustainability Division at HYM&E Consultancy Services based in Singapore. And she's managing sustainability projects involving global green building rating systems, digital twin service, energy modeling and optimization, solar studies, and digital twin dashboards. She coordinates with clients to provide customized solutions, ensuring the best possible outcomes for each project. So I saw that, based on Roina's expertise and her presence, it looks like she has a lot to share, not only about Singapore, but also where she belongs from, which is India, and it's close to my heart too. So we are going to get Roina's insights on 2 different countries. So Roina, for you, the Singapore Green Plan 2030 outlines the country's comprehensive approach to sustainability across various sectors. Can you discuss some key initiatives or targets under Green Plan and their progress towards achieving a sustainable future? And then following that, with very specific to India, with a growing population and expanding economy, energy demand in India is rising. What are some innovative renewable energy projects or policies that are driving the transition towards a cleaner and more sustainable energy mix? So let's hear it from Roina.
Yeah, hi everyone. Great to have you all here. Let's start with talking about Singapore. Singapore is an island nation in Southeast Asia where it is a small country, a low-lying country, and it is highly vulnerable to effects of climate change. In fact, over the last 20 years, from 1984 roughly to 2023, they have experienced an average of 0.24 degree change per decade. As you can see in the infographics, which is flashing on your screen, there have been a lot of impacts of climate change in Singapore, including rising sea levels, intense rainfall, high temperatures, which this region is not used to, as well as impact on the biodiversity. Which now brings us to talking about the Singapore Green Plan 2030. This plan was released by the government of Singapore on 10th February 2021 that basically sets targets for Singapore for achieving by the year 2030. Now, there are, of course, a lot of goals that were set there. I've just highlighted a few. The first one that they talk about is to plant about 1 million trees and have every household within a 10-minute walking distance from the park. Talking about a little bit about the history of Singapore, the late PM, Mr. Lee Kuan Yew, had a vision where Singapore would be called a garden city. The new vision is now to actually create a city within a garden, and they are quite aggressively doing this. I see this when I walk every day in Singapore. The next one that they have is to basically reduce the amount of landfill per capita by 20% by 2026 and 30% by 2030. To facilitate this, they've actually created 4 waste-to-energy plants and 1 offshore disposal site. So they are actively trying to work towards reducing waste to the landfill. They have another interesting goal, which is to quadruple the amount of solar deployment by 2025. Now, Singapore is a very small city, and land here is very premium. So to achieve this ambitious goal, they are starting to have a lot of solar farms, which are floating solar farms. That's quite interesting, and you see a lot of them popping around the coastline of Singapore and even in and around the small reservoirs. Interestingly, they also have another goal, which is to green Singapore in a built environment context. So 80% of Singapore's buildings to be green by 2030. And this is the key driver for this particular movement is BCA's Green Mark 2021. And they have till date got about 55% of the buildings which actually have been certified green. So they are well, towards achieving this target. Now, given the rising sea levels, Singapore is actually building a seawall. I don't know if many of you are aware of this, but this announcement actually came 2 years prior to the Singapore Green Plan in 2019, when Prime Minister Lee spoke about spending around $100 billion over the next 50 to 100 years to protect Singapore from the rising sea levels. Singapore is a small country and it faces a lot of challenges. Nonetheless, the country's leadership is really trying to demonstrate how they can address all these issues through proactive adaptation, mitigation, and through various sustainability measures to protect its people and environment. So I think Singapore is really leading by example. Now, coming to the question that Ashwini asked about India, I can tell you that India is really witnessing a huge surge in energy demand because, of course, of India's growing population and rapid economic growth. Now, to address this, some very interesting mega projects have been launched. And I thought that given the time constraints, can't talk about a lot of them, but 2 of them have been flashed on screen. So the first project that I would like to talk about is the Badla Solar Park. This is one of the largest solar parks in the world. It is located in the state of Rajasthan in the Thar Desert. It covers 56 square kilometers and is generating a lot of electricity, 2,245 megawatts, and can power close to 1.3 million homes. Interestingly, India actually has 4 of the top 15 mega solar projects in the world. So that's an interesting stat for India. Another project that I thought would be quite interesting is a solar floating plant. So actually, India is experimenting with floating solar projects, and this one, which you have the Ramagundam floating solar plant, which is an interesting project. It generates about 100 megawatts, spanning 500 acres. Each of the blocks is divided into 40, the entire project is divided into 40 blocks. Each block has about 2.5 megawatt generation, and each of these platforms has about 11,200 solar modules. Again, quite a massive project thinking about in just terms of scale, and it is on a reservoir. Besides this, of course, there are other wind solar hybrid projects. These are also gaining traction. One of the companies who's driving this is Adani. In fact, Adani's green energy hybrid project is one such example. Another interesting project is the offshore wind project. The offshore wind project is actually in Gujarat and off the coast of Gujarat. Next, talking about innovative policies that India has. So again, the whole aim and agenda is to drive sustainability and energy efficiency. So you actually have one interesting policy, which is the Jawaharlal Nehru National Solar Mission. So this was launched in 2010, and it aims to establish India as a global leader in solar energy. And as of recent studies is showing that India stands fifth in solar power deployment. And by the mid last year, it was generating about 70 gigawatt, which is quite an achievement. Another interesting policy is the renewable purchase obligation, or the RPO policy, which mandates that distribution companies have part of their percentage through renewable sources. So this is also a nice one because it incentivizes people to invest in renewable energy projects. Apart from this, there are a few other projects as well, which is the Green Energy Corridor project and the net metering project as well, which feed-in tariff project policies. These are also interesting ones. Do look these up. But yeah, these are just a few of the policies that I thought I could highlight here. The country's commitment to achieving 500 gigawatt of renewable capacity by 2030 is actually a testament to its ambition and dedication for clean and green power. Let me leave you with an inspiring story. Jada Payang, a single individual, spent about 30 years of his life planting trees to save his island in Assam, India, creating about around 550 hectares of forest and restoring wildlife and creating a sustainable and diverse environment for a host of animals and birds. I call this the power of one. As climate change ambassadors, I believe that each one of you can be at the forefront in advancing and advocating change and leading by example, both personally and professionally. So please do join the program and lead by that power of one.
Thank you so much, Roina, for that inspiring story. And it's great to know all the different types of projects that's happening in India, especially with respect to solar power, and even like elaborating on the 2030 plan for Singapore. I'm pretty sure that's a great starting point for us to go and look up and learn more about what's happening and what can be done next. I do see some questions being populated in the chat, so we'll try to answer as much as possible while we're going, but otherwise we'll definitely have a look at them towards the end, just conscious of time. Now on that note, I'm super excited to welcome Jesslyn Varghese to share more about GBRI's revamped climate change ambassador program version 3.0. Many of you may already know Jesslyn as the founder of GBRI. Jesslyn also recently joined the Gateway Development Commission as its Senior Director of Sustainability. Congratulations, Jesslyn. And today, Jesslyn will walk us through GBRI's Climate Change Ambassador Program version 3.0. Cover the objectives of this program, who the program benefits, an overview of its content and all the badge systems. He'll also talk about the pricing details and how you can register and all of that. So please join me in welcoming Jesslyn Varghese. Jesslyn, you're on mute.
Thank you so much, Ashwini. And it was quite inspiring story from Rowena too. I'm super excited to be here and talk about this program. On this occasion, first of all, happy Environment Day, everyone, and thank you all for joining us. So far we have, I see 337 participants. We had around 600 plus registrants. I'm hoping that others would watch the recording. On this particular occasion, I am personally super thrilled to officially launch GBRI's Climate Change Ambassador Program version 3.0. Before I do so, I want to thank wholeheartedly our GBRI team of partners who have made this happen. All the wonderful women you see here under the leadership of Ashwini. They audited our previous ambassador program last year. First, we thought it'll be a 2-week exercise. We thought, okay, let's just do this in 2 weeks and we'll create a new program in a month. Then what happened is that in 2 weeks, we realized this is not a 2 weeks task. So they expanded it to 3 weeks, then became 4 weeks, 5 weeks. Long story short, we realized that there were so many gaps in the previous program. So now we are ready to launch the version 3.0 program with inputs from all of them. And also we got so much work done and performed by our students representing the National Association of Students in Architecture. They helped us a lot create new courses, new content, meaningful reflections. So I am very excited, as you can see, to launch this program and share what they have all done as a collective team. All right. So those of you who are new to this initiative, so we know it's version 3.0. So many of we may have already completed the previous version. And if you have completed the previous version, this new version is going to be free for you. So that's one great news. If you have already completed the previous version, the new version comes to you no cost. So whether you are just getting started in learning more about climate change or already a champion who believes in climate change and who wants to make a difference, like our power of one person from India, then this may be a right fit for you. From students to professionals to small and large businesses, this program may have something for you. On the screen, you're looking at a multiple levels. So this is a diagram created by Aparna, who is not here today. She's also, again, one of our ISP graduates, International Sustainability Program graduates, who became a champion in that and then started creating courses. She helps a lot of our courses in designing and also presenting them. So there are 4 badges within this program. Under each level, you will find a list of courses, articles, and meaningful exercises. So let me walk you through this information booklet and the web page. On the right-hand side, you're seeing the booklet. So I strongly encourage you to download this booklet. So I'm going to stop my screen share for a second and then open the website directly. So I'm going to go to this particular link. Okay. And Lakshmi, I hope you can also share the link in the chat real quick. Okay, so let me stop this presentation real quick and I'm going to share the link. Okay. I'm going to start sharing my screen again. Let me know if you can see my website.
Yes, we can.
Yes. Perfect. Thank you, Ashwini. So this is the page where you can learn more about the version 3.0 program. There is information about what each badge is. So basically the first level, which is level 0, is the Trailblazer. All of you who are attending this webinar and who will be watching this webinar will be getting the Trailblazer badge. If you have previously earned this badge, then we will replace it with a Climate Change Leader badge for the first level or level 0. And then we have level 1 Warrior, level 2 Champion, level 3 Ambassador. So this page talks about, why join the program. Apart from being the champion for the environment, we also want to make sure you are getting continuing education credits for your AIA, LEED, and WELL credentials. So this would meet all of your requirements. This program, in fact, has more than 36 hours. And as a complement, we would also give you LEED and WELL specific hours, so which I'm going to talk to you in a few seconds. But again, this website again talks about, this particular page talks about why you should have it, all the good things about the program, who the program is for. It is not just for, one of the things that came out from our audit is that we wanted to make sure this program is not just speaking to professionals, right? So we want to make sure it also talks to students, engineers and architects, broader audience, teachers, because we want to make sure that even teachers could take this information, take it back into their classrooms and make it part of their curriculum. This is again what the learning path is, a self-paced program. You could do it on your own anytime you want. It's 100% online. You can download the booklet and then start your journey as early as today. So this is the booklet. And as you can see, this booklet, you can download it too. So I'm going to go through this real quick. Okay. So let's see. So this is where it talks about, the content, all the challenges. It talks about the benefits, how you get the CE hours. All the levels are approved by USGBC and AIA. So you don't have to report individual courses. One level, you'll get 12 hours. Level 1, level 2, you'll get 13 hours. Level 3, you get 12.5 hours. So you don't, that's much easier for folks who want, a larger chunk of hours. And plus this element, this whole package is available to you until 2027, which means, and in 2027, we may come up with a version 4.0 back, then because, this is a changing landscape. And so by giving you access until 2027, you can tackle more than one reporting period for your credentials. Okay, so this is basically it, and then what more? Once you complete the program is the cost is $199. We would have student discounts, but once you complete the program, you will get a $50 gift card, an Amazon gift card or a gift card, or you'll get $100 in GBRI bucks, which you can use for other courses. You will also get a complimentary access to a GBRI 6 lead specific or well specific courses, which is again worth $69. So you can see if you do the math, you're essentially getting the whole program for $100, 36 hours, right? And on top of it, as a bonus, you will get access to a book called Roots of a Green Home, which has more than 150 projects for your home. So if you think about it, what we want to do is you're learning about climate change. That's one. You can take this to your work, you incorporate that's in your own workplace. But we also want to walk the talk by doing the same thing at our homes, right? So this is all about empowering, educating, and by no means this is not the only one solution. There are so many solutions out there, like Raveena mentioned, so many projects, and we want to hear from you too. So as you learn, you can share thoughts with the rest of the community. So the entire booklet is designed such a way that you will see that after every level or after every course, we encourage users to talk about the key takeaways, personal relevance, so that this is not just holding to one piece, because we know I may be in New York, Raveena may be in Singapore, Minal may be in Kuwait, Ashwini may be in Canada, but we only have one planet, right? So we have to do this to save our planet. And you can see now, 10 years earlier, there were so many of us talking about sustainability, but now you can see a larger impact. Governments are putting more money into this. They are all realizing that, there is not much time left. So back to the program again, so you can see each day there is a theme. So you can see day 1 is setting the foundation, day 2 is water, day 3 is waste. So many of the topics, like Carolina mentioned, fast fashion is one of them, conscious consumption, minimalist living, health and wellness, that's all in the level 1. So you can see each day, and if you look at each day, you can see what goes in each level. Okay, and then there are notes, so you can print this booklet, you can take the notes, there's some blogs, how to calculate your carbon footprint, and then you can put your notes here and share your thoughts with others in the program. Okay, so similarly, I don't want to walk you through the entire booklet, but basically every day has something like this, the number of courses, and then it talks about, the meaningful action for each course. Because what is the whole point? Like, when you read an article, there are thousands of articles on climate change these days. You open a magazine or TV. But what matters is what is the action we take after we watch this program, or a news. Climate change definitely has an image problem. Whenever you look at climate change, we always see not so good images, right? Not so happy images. And yes, it is a problem, but it also offers opportunities for us. And that's why you will see in today's panel, we all have smiling faces, because we feel like, yes, where there is problem, but we can also come up with solutions. Okay. All right. So this is essentially the entire booklet. So now let me go back to, and then after each level, you get the badge, which you can share on social media platform, include in your resume. And this definitely would enhance your visibility to potential employers. And as you can see in today's panel itself, we have an expert panel with so many credentials, and those credentials definitely help us, have discussions with, future employers and gain better employment opportunities. Level 2 is again about, so level 1 was basic, right? So level 2 is talks about international policies, climate justice, biodiversity, energy, ecotourism, carbon solutions, things like that. Now let me go to level 3 real quick. Level 3 is climate change and ESG, responsible investments, coastal resilience. So you can see you're basically building upon the foundation, and then you're going to, as you become to the last the level, it's about innovation, innovative technologies, biotechnology, things that you may not actually see when you're searching for climate change, like such as indigenous wisdom and nature's design, oceans and marine ecology, things which we may not actually usually see when you search for climate change on Google. And once you finish the level 3, we welcome you to the last course, which is basically a course on climate change, mindfulness, and moving forward. So this is basically like, okay, now we have all the levels done. What's now? This is where the power of mind comes. Like Carolina is now the advisor for mind for International Well-Building Institute. So thinking about how can we be mindful about not just me and my family and my friends, but everyone else who is sharing this planet. And how can I be mindful in doing my work, like as an engineer, as a designer, as an architect? How can my work have a positive impact around me? That is where we want to go with this last course, and that's it. And then you earn the ambassador badge, and we are a UN SDG partner. We're also a USGBC education partner. We're partnering with IWBI and the AIA. So the entire program is approved by USGBC and also by AIA. All right, so that concludes my little booklet talk. So let me go back to my presentation again.
Right. So while Jesslyn is sharing his presentation, thank you so much, Jesslyn. I'm hopeful that you all are looking forward to and excited to know that I know this was just a glimpse. So please feel free, go on the website, have a look. I'm sure there's something for everyone. When I started on this journey, it was more about just wanting to know more about climate change. What is it that everyone is talking about? You all have some information about climate change, but then it's always nice to go back and refresh. And it's not just about one or two. There are a wide range of topics in this whole program. Some might excite you, some you're like, oh wow, I've never thought about it. So just think of it from an educational point of view, and then that leads you to something next in your life and as you move on. So thank you so much, Jesslyn. We'll move on to our next speaker, considering we only have a few minutes left. So let me introduce you to Minal Budati. She's a senior architect at PACE, which is a leading multidisciplinary consultancy firm in Kuwait City. With over 2 decades of experience in the building industry, she collaborates with architects and engineers to develop concepts that meet project goals and operational standards, bringing architectural projects to life. Meenal holds a Bachelor of Architecture from Sir J.J. College of Architecture in Mumbai, India. She's a well-accredited professional, well AP, and a lead GA, and is a member of Kuwait Society of Engineers. She's dedicated to sustainable design and wellness. She advocates for green spaces and incorporates wellness in buildings. She's joined GBRI as a sustainability and social impact partner, contributing significantly to the journey towards a sustainable environment. Welcome, Meenal. And for you, we have the following 2 questions where you can share your insights on. Now, despite being a region known for its oil production, there's a growing interest in renewable energy and sustainability in Kuwait and the overall Middle East. What are some developments or initiatives in this area? And also, since we just talked about the Climate Change Ambassador Program, how has this program helped you both professionally and personally?
Thank you, Ashwini, first for the brilliant introduction. And I'm very happy to be in this session here. This is another opportunity for me to grow and share. Hello, everyone. Wishing you all first a World Environment Day, along with GBRI and the team here. What better day to address than today? Climate change everyone knows, is a global phenomenon. So we need to act now. At the universal level, United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, established in 1994, stands as a major international effort to stabilize the greenhouse gas concentration. So what are we doing at the regional levels? Climate change poses a fundamental problem affecting natural resources, especially in this semi-arid, dry, subhumid areas. Yes, I am talking about Kuwait and its surroundings. Before I move ahead and proceed, let me ask my audience here, like, how many of you are familiar with the location of Kuwait? Never mind. Here is a map for everyone illustrating Kuwait and its neighboring areas. Kuwait, which is officially known as the State of Kuwait, is a country in West Asia located in the Arabian Gulf. It shares its boundaries with both Iraq from the northwest and Saudi Arabia from the south. Kuwait is no exception to this climate change. It's a challenge, and it's one of the Middle East nations which is facing tremendous impact due to climate change. This is basically the global warming, which is leading to increased heat waves, intensified dust storms, rising of sea levels, reduction in precipitation, consequencing also the impacts on the infrastructure projects. Also, nothing less, even the human health. Here, the basic problem is of increased risk of chronic diseases such as asthma, and the list goes on. So, what are some of the initiatives or the developments that Kuwait is doing? What is it trying to do? Or what is the national adaptation plan that's adopting here? I could give some of them. The state of Kuwait is actively working on implementing Green Belts project, increasing the protected areas to adapt to the dust storms. An ongoing project, which is the Kuwait Green Wall project, aims to protect the areas by planting 315,000 trees around a stretch of 420 kilometers borderline to hold the moving sand. Initiatives for reforestation and afforestation are being pursued to mitigate the effects of desertification and increase carbon sequestration. It's also building desalination plants to protect freshwater sources and to maintain ecological stability. Kuwait here relies on three main water resources to fulfill its water demands. It's from desalinated water, brackish groundwater, and treated wastewater. Currently, as you see, there are 8 seawater desalination plants, and many more are planned and are being commissioned by the Kuwait government. And like Ashwini asked me, yes, indeed, despite Middle East's historical reliance on oil production, there has been a noticeable shift from renewable energy and sustainability in this region in recent years. It's investing in renewable energy sources, particularly solar power, to diversify its greenhouse gas emissions. I can show you some of the examples. Here are some of the recent developments and initiatives what Kuwait has been doing. This is the Shagaya Renewable Energy Park. It's a solar energy plant, a joint venture developed by Kuwait Institute of Research and the Ministry of Electricity and Water. This marks a significant milestone, especially for a country like Kuwait, for the renewable energy sector. This project is aiming for a 2 gigawatt of solar and wind power capacity by 2030. The image here you see is the first phase, which is already done and is operational. Phase 2 and phase 3 are in line. Once they are fully complete, the solar power could annually save Kuwait 12 million barrels of oil. The project will also reduce carbon dioxide emissions by 196,000 tons annually in the first phase and by 5 million tons by the end of the final phase. Additionally, other than this, Kuwait government plans to install solar panels on all the government buildings, which is an ongoing project, on public facility buildings to increase their sector in energy generation. Kuwait has pledged to reach carbon neutrality in the oil and gas sector by 2050. While these initiatives are in action in the ministerial level, public level, and even private sector, organizations like GBRI foster sustainability and awareness and education even in places like Kuwait and Middle East. Personally, for me, GBRI serves a valuable green platform, facilitated my pursuit to well certification and further becoming a climate change ambassador. Through meticulously curated sessions, GBRI has broadened my awareness of pressing issues such as the impact of human-induced light pollution on the celestial expanse, like a topic called dark skies. This is such an interesting topic, an area of my personal curiosity. I will not dwell much into that and leave it open for you all to discover. Furthermore, the program also addresses critical topics, challenges that we face due to ocean, supporting and safeguarding the marine life and fisheries. The significance of this cannot be underestimated, especially in places like Kuwait, where coastal and marine ecosystems are highly productive. So, what are some of the risks in the ocean sector due to this climate change? It's increasing the sea surface temperature. So what does it cause? It causes disturbance in the coral reef, bleaching and degrading the coastal systems, ocean acidification, rising seawater salinity, many more. So for a place like Kuwait, fishery is the second important sector after the oil sector, not only Kuwait, in all the Arabian Gulf countries. So the government, what has it been doing for this to solve this out? It has opened up EPC program, that's an environmental pollution climate change program, which assesses the pollution, atmospheric and aquatic terrestrial environment of Kuwait. Now let's go and look at some of the Middle East renewable energy projects. This is Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum Solar Park in Dubai, UAE, one of the largest single-site solar parks in the world, which utilizes an independent production system and will produce 5 gigawatts of power by 2030. And it will power 240,000 homes, contributing to the climate change mitigation by offsetting 1.4 million tons of carbon dioxide emission per year. Here is another project in Saudi Arabia, the Al Khafji desalination plant. This sets a new standard for water innovation and environment stewardship. This is a revolutionary system that turns salt water into clean drinking water and generates clean energy for the kingdom. This plant, as the name says, is located in Al Khafji city, which is to the northeastern part of Saudi Arabia, and it's very close to the Kuwait border. The plant has the capacity to produce up to 90,000 cubic meters of water, and that's clean water per day, and uses a cutting-edge technology by the King Abdulaziz City for science and technology. It's one of the world's first large-scale solar-powered reverse osmosis desalination plant, reducing its carbon emissions. Sustainability here in Middle East is a key part, a pillar for Saudi Arabia's Vision 2030. It's also paving way to the net zero by 2060. Launched in 2021 after COVID, Saudi Arabia is leading its way to the net zero. It's also introduced the Saudi Green Initiative. This is an ambitious initiative taken at the national level, which is supporting Saudi Arabia's net zero target. And how are they achieving this? This is through innovative solutions such as circular carbon economy, investing in new energy sources, and developing carbon capture and storage programs. Here are some of the vision projects of 2030. Due to time constraint, I wouldn't want to go into deep, but will just highlight some of the projects which are ongoing right now, and we are working on those. King Salman Energy Park Spark is being developed, and this is a world-class hub for the region's energy sector, providing a full range of solutions to support business in Saudi Arabia. Spark is the first industrial city in the world to obtain the LEED Silver certification and the first gold Mosta Dam project. Mosta Dam certification is another certification which is in-house, I mean to say in Saudi Arabia, which is addressing the sustainability challenges posed by the buildings in this region. So this wholeheartedly aligning with the visionary goals outlined in Vision 2030. You can see another project, that's NEOM. This is another visionary project that is set to transform the Red Sea coast of the northwest Saudi Arabia, aiming to power by 100% renewable energy. This is a very futuristic city, or often called a smart city. The Saudi mega project covers around 26,500 square kilometers. It consists of 10 projects, some of which are the Line, Oxygen, Sandala, the Trojena, and more. As you see, Line, this is the new wonder of the world. This is a linear city which will house 9 million people, and it's running from east to west across the region. Oxygen, another project, which is a port and a logistic hub. This is the largest floating industrial complex that will be built on the Red Sea. Sindala, a luxury island development destination in the Red Sea. Trojena, this is a planned ski resort in the Sarwat Mountains, north of the region. So you see this gigantic, ambitious project where imagination has no bounds, with grand ideas and innovative technology, specifically paving to fresh graduates. It's one of the best opportunities to create history. There are growing concerns and speculations of the huge embodied carbon cost of construction and livability. Over and all, NEOM will act as the main gateway to the Red Sea, unique in scale, challenging, and reimagining what a sustainable future will look like in few years. Thank you. Over to you, Jesslyn.
Thank you so much, Meena. This was, I see some questions also being populated in the chat, and it was great to give an overview of all the various projects that's happening in Saudi Arabia, and especially people would be more interested knowing it's the hub of oil and gas, especially the oil production. So we have our last speaker, Amel Sisban. Unfortunately, she couldn't join us in person, but she was kind enough to provide recordings that we can all hear. Let me give you a brief introduction, and then we'll have a look at all the videos and her insights that she has to share. That's the last speaker, and then after that, we'll move into Q&A and closing remarks from Jesslyn and rest of the speakers. So Amel is a sustainability consultant, ESG and climate action. She's a senior architect and urban planner with a specialty in heritage conservation. She has over 20 years of experience and has led large-scale projects driving innovation within leading international organizations across the Middle East and Europe. Amel specializes in developing sustainability strategies and incorporating ESG principles. She's played a key role in achieving sustainability targets for the award-winning Smart Sustainable District, Meshera downtown in Doha, and has managed a large portfolio of projects for luxury brands. In addition, she has masters in architecture and executive masters in urban planning and heritage conservation from the University of Brussels. And Amel holds a certification in leading sustainable corporations from Oxford. She's a lead AP, she's a GBRI climate change ambassador, advocates for climate change awareness through creative writing and education, and she brings a deep understanding of regional and global sustainability challenges from her experience in Africa, in Europe, and Middle East. Since we don't have Amel in person, I think we'll move on to her insights. So we had 3 questions for Amel, and all her insights are very specific to COP28, which was recently held in Dubai, as you're all aware of. So the first video basically talks about some insights from COP28. The second video will be more about the key priorities and goals for advancing, particularly in the Middle East. And then we'll move on to the third video. So I think, Jesslyn, you can play the first one with the general insights on COP. And participants, please let us know if you're not able to hear it very clearly.
As per the IP. Hello everyone, and thank you for being here. First of all, I would like to thank GBRI for organizing this event and for inviting me to speak about COP28, the conference of the parties that took place in Dubai in December 2023. The first notable thing that I would like to mention about COP28 is that it marked the awaited conclusion of the first global stocktake report on the world's efforts to tackle climate emergency under the Paris Agreement. This report simply concluded that we are off track. Moreover, the United Nations stated that 15% only of the UN Sustainable Development Goals SDG targets are on track, while progress on 48% is weak and insufficient, and progress on 37% has stalled or even gone into reverse. However, the message is that it is time to act more aggressively. The highlights that I would like to mention about the conference are the following. First, the materialization of the Loss and Damage Fund to support the vulnerable nations impacted by climate change. Second, the renewable energy commitments of the party to triple global renewable energy capacity and double the energy efficiency by 2030. And last but not least, the acceleration of the phase down of coal power and the phase out of inefficient fossil fuel that was considered historical. Simply put, the next 2 years are critical. The parties are required to establish a new climate finance goal by COP29 and to develop by early 2025 stronger climate action plans on their new nationally determined contribution, NDC, aligned with the 1.5 degrees Celsius temperature limit. Basically, there is still a lot to do and very little time to do it.
I see that we do have comments stating the voice is very faint or not able to hear. Not sure, Jesslyn, if we continue with the videos, considering a lot of them are having problems, or we can attach that as part of presentation.
Okay, so yeah, I think what we could do is, yeah, I can see the connection issue. So we will include this in the recording, and that way the speech is very clear. We can take the Q&A now. Yeah.
Okay, so there's a mixed review. Some people can't hear it, but some are able to. So, okay.
Yeah, we could give the benefit of doubt to the folks who cannot hear.
Yeah,
That way
yeah,
everyone can listen to the recording.
sure.
Thank you, Amel, for recording these videos.
All right, I think Amel was our last speaker, and then I will hand it over to Jesslyn for any closing remarks. And if Jesslyn, since he's based out of New York, if he wants to throw some insights on what's happening in the United States in general, but considering that we have limited time, we might even just move on to the Q&A. So Jesslyn, over to you.
Thank you so much, Ashwini. I do see some specific questions on projects. I also see some of you are frustrated with the climate change solutions. I 100% agree. See, I also work on a larger project in New York City called Hudson Tunnel Project, another climate resiliency project. No, government or no organization or no project is perfect, because it's all fundamentally us. Are we perfect? No. So that's when we start pointing fingers, we have to start pointing ourselves and look into the mirror and see, am I doing everything perfect? No. But this is the reason why we have this program, the dialogue, right? We are not perfect. and here are the problems. Let's start with solutions. And we feel like educating people about this is the first step, and then discussing solutions. So you may find some of these projects around the world. Some of you may find that these projects are inefficiently organized, some governments here and there. So we want to stay away from the politics. I do understand all your concerns. Let's keep the positive spirit up and recognize what is happening, and how can we collectively be part of the solution. All right. So with that, Ashwini, do you want to take some of these questions, or can I ask them, and then the speakers can answer them if they feel comfortable, or if not, towards the end, we can always respond it after the webinar too. Okay.
Absolutely. Jocelyn, I think Carolina and Roina have already answered some of the questions. Some generic ones have already been answered. Does anyone from the audience, do you have any specific questions that you want to ask live? We have our panel members here.
Great.
I
Let me
can
see.
see a raised hand from Ashley Carvalho. I don't know if she has a question or not.
Let me, Ashley, should I? Yeah, I'm going to actually allow Ashley to speak. Oops, I think she took her hand off, right?
We have one general question, which is, what is the GBCI course number to report?
For this particular one, it has to be self-reported. So we will send an email out later today or tomorrow with a certificate and with all the information you would need to self-report.
There's one question on, could you please elaborate on the opportunities that the Climate Change Ambassador Program offers to graduate students?
Sure. So I'll start with my own experience here, conducting the International Sustainability Program. So this was a program we started during COVID, and we had around 25 students across different universities and colleges in India. Some of the brightest minds, we got, they took this program, they took the version 1 of the program, and right now they are all in different parts of the world, either taking, graduate school, or after finishing those schools, working for companies like Tesla. One particular one that comes to my mind is, her name is Adon. She was in civil engineering, and then she happened to learn about the program. She joined the program, and she turned out to be one of the biggest contributors. Right now, after completing her construction management at Georgia Institute of Technology, she started working with Tesla, based out in California. So these are just one example, right? So similarly, I think when you get an education, when you get a degree from a university or a college, it doesn't matter how big the school is, how small the school is. But if you absorb it, then you have a tool. So similarly, I believe this is a tool, and you can use the tool to your own advantage when you start having conversation with potential employers, networking, things like that. As a community, you can also discuss problems, projects with your peers. So as you can see over here, all the panel members here, I have not met any of them personally, in person. They all are part of GBRI's partner program, Social Impact Partner Program. They heard about us online. They took the program and they believe in this, right? And then we talk back and forth. We realize there are problems, and then we come up with solutions to our best knowledge. Similarly, in our student group, they ask questions. We have WhatsApp group for lead exam prep, well exam prep. They come up, they ask questions. Sometimes it will be technical question. Sometimes it will be a frustrating website experience, and then we answer them. We try to support each other. So same thing with the program, we would have a leaderboard where you can see folks who have earned the badges. If you have questions, concerns, networking opportunities, you are becoming, more access to everything out there offered by students across the world.
And if I may add, I started this Ambassador Challenge on the first version. And the great thing about this, in my personal experience, is that even though I might know a lot about a certain topics, I don't know everything about climate change or pollution or air, water, fast fashion. And there's many concepts that I don't have enough information. So this challenge gives you information about every single issue, from kind of certifications, LEED, WELL, True Zero, BREEAM, what's the difference between them, why EV electrified vehicles are important or not, plus and cons about everything. So it gives you a foundation on sustainability. So you will be able to talk about certain issues with knowledge without focusing in getting one specific certification to for a job or getting one specific master class on only one topic. That was my experience on it.
Thank you, Carolina. If I may also add, after I took the program myself, I started working with teachers. We got 2 grants from teachers in Rhode Island. We started developing a teachers program for sustainability. That's a program that could be widely available around the world, and we want to offer it for free. Some of these courses, as you know, the GBR is a small little platform. Whatever we can, we want to offer it for free. In fact, 20% of the profit from this program would actually go to climate change funds, where we would support many nonprofit projects. We have a foundation. We have been supporting many projects around the world during COVID, and even continue to do so. So that's just our stand on how we can make a positive impact. Can we solve all the problems? No, but whatever we can in the limited capacity, we will try. All right, so while we have more questions, I want to play this quick video, which was developed by a climate change ambassador student. She took this, she's a musician, and she was a graduate from our international sustainability program. And we have adopted, since then, we have adopted this song as our climate change ambassador song. Okay, so I'm going to play it. Let me know if you can hear it.
We need to wake up. We need to wise up. We need to open our eyes and do it now, now, now. We need to build a better future, and we need to start right now. We're on a planet that has a problem. We've got to solve it, get involved, and do it now, now, now. We need to build a better future, and we need to start right now. We need to build a better future, and we need to start right now.
It's always great. Any number of times you hear this song, it's always inspiring. And I see some great comments. People really love the ending. So okay, I think that's it. I know we are at 1:20. Sorry, Jesslyn, go ahead.
No. Thank you so much, Ashwini. I want to once again take this time to thank you for leading this group. I know, we haven't, I really hope that one of these days we can all meet in person, but Ashwini actually spearheaded this project. So she was the one who took the initiative, and she worked with each of us to collect our feedback on each of our courses from version 2.0. And then we started thinking, how can we create new courses? And then we created newer courses based on the input from everyone we collected. So thank you, Ashwini. Thank you so much for being the leader. And I'm really hoping that this program will take off to newer heights.
Thank you, Jocelyn. I would just like to say that I think everyone had equal involvement here. So I tried to do my best, but I think it wouldn't have been possible without everyone's involvement. So I would say everyone was a leader in this particular program development, and it looks like it's a great outcome. And we can't wait to do this program all over again and share our insights on social media as well. Um, thank you so much.
Perfect. All
Okay,
right.
have a great day, everyone, and have once again happy World Environment Day. Hopefully, you get take some time to do something that you love, spend time in nature. I'm definitely going to go bike riding this evening, so yeah, have fun.
Thank you, Ashwini. One
Thank
last
you.
thing. If you can all share your thoughts and feedback on our, Lakshmi is going to share our links on the chat here. You can review this webinar on whether on Google or Trustpilot. That'll be a huge help for us. Okay, so Lakshmi, if you can share those links, and then we'll send you a thank you email within the next 24 to 48 hours with information on how to report this course, including link to the recording, because we know that the Amal's video couldn't be played, so we will include that also in the recording. Okay, thank you again, and looking forward to working with each of you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone, for
Thank
joining.
you. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye.